Hey there, everyone. Tonight we are going to go over lots of art supply fun stuff, and we're going to finish up our globe that we started on our video yesterday. So I'm streaming on both YouTube and Facebook, and I had some questions that were asked recently on Instagram, on YouTube, and on Facebook about just supplies in general. What kind of supplies do I recommend that you need to begin painting with acrylics? And also about the supplies that are needed for the course that I've been talking about so much lately. So I'm going to go over the supply list for the acrylic painting for beginners course. And it's very simple, it's very basic, and I think that anybody could grab these supplies and get started painting right away. So we're going to work on this in just a moment. But right now, let's talk about some paint supplies, some art supplies, and things that I recommend that you have if you're going to, number one, paint with me in either my course or my membership. Or if you just want to paint in general and you don't know what things you need to get started, these are the things that I recommend because they're the things that I use most often. Okay, I'm going to move my camera down like this so you can see my table down here. Let me move my phone. Okay, first of all, you need paint. And these are the colors that I have listed for the course. These are the colors that I recommend that you begin with just in general because they can be mixed and you can create all kinds of colors with these. So I'm going to have a warm and a cool yellow, a warm and a cool red, a warm and a cool blue, and then some neutral colors. And the reason why I do this is because when you're mixing your colors and you're learning how to create different kinds of colors and you're working on really making your artwork look more professional, having color temperature differences in different hues will help you to do that more easily. And really, your basic red, yellow, and blue is all that you have to have. But I like to add a few other colors in the mix. So let me just tell you what these colors are, and then we may swatch a few colors just to let you see. So for red, I like quinacridone red and cadmium red. Now the cadmium red, it comes in different brands. It'll say light, medium, deep, but in the Artist Loft brand, which is like Michael's brand, it just says cadmium red. But it's probably more like the medium. I gotta drink some water. Hang on. But the cadmium red and the quinacridone red are your two reds. Then I would get an Indian yellow and a cadmium yellow, a medium. If it just says cadmium yellow, then go with it. If it says light, medium, dark, or deep, then go with just the medium. Okay, and then for your blue, ultramarine, and either cerulean or manganese. These are very similar. The manganese seems to be a little more translucent and a little more, I don't know, it's just a prettier blue, where this cerulean seems to be a little more opaque and a little bit thicker, maybe. Okay, so if you absolutely can't buy all of this, I would just get the reds, yellows, blues, a white, and a black. So this is titanium white, and this is Mars black. And then if you get a color wheel, then it will help you to be able to mix all kinds of colors. For example, if you mix black with yellow, you're going to get green. And it's my favorite green, really. If you mix cadmium yellow and Mars black, I really like that green. That's what I've been using on the globe, a mixture of those two colors. However, if you want to get some more neutral colors that you don't have to mix, I would recommend a burnt umber, which is a really dark brown, a raw umber, which is sort of like a greenish brownish gray, and a burnt sienna. Those are all of the colors that are in my list. So if you go over to artbymandyhilburn.com and you click on the link that takes you to the new course, there is a list there that you can go to that shows you the names of all of these paints. And I've also got a link there. I recommend using Blick Art to order your paint. And I don't really have a brand that I like more than any other. If you're going to go for what is like the gold standard of acrylic, heavy-bodied acrylics, then Golden would be that. I also have used and like Liquitex. I like Artist Loft, but it's at Michael's and it's going out. They're phasing it out from what I understand. Let me see what other brands. I also like Charvin. So any of those that are in a tube, they're a heavier bodied acrylic paint, and I recommend getting that for painting loosely, painting texture, painting with a palette knife sometimes if you want to. Okay, so that's the paint. I also recommend that you have a color wheel. That's going to help you tremendously with mixing, picking colors out, things like that. You just need something to put some paint on. You can use a paper plate. This is a styrofoam plate to use as a palette. What else? You need some water. You need brushes. The brushes that are my favorite are these long-handled green brushes that I bought at Walmart. That's my favorite brush. It comes in a little variety pack, and the brand is Royal and Langnickel. And it comes in a pack, long-handled green brushes, super cheap at Walmart. It's my favorite. Also, you may want to get a palette knife. You don't have to. And basically, that's it. You got to have something to paint on. You could use cardboard if you want to. Like I've been telling you with this globe that we're painting, you can paint on anything basically with acrylic paint. So in the course, we paint on some canvases. We paint on some sketchbooks also. This one is a mixed media sketchbook, and you can also get these at Walmart, or you can order them from Blick, either one. But they hold lots of paint. If you get the mixed media, you can get them in different sizes. So this one is bigger than that one. And by the way, these paintings here are these interiors. That is going to be our theme for August in the creative community. So if you're not a member of my creative community, which is my painting group, and you're interested in learning more about painting interiors, we're also going to do some patterns, and I'm going to teach how I make fabric, wallpaper, and basically anything that you can put a pattern on using Procreate in my iPad. Those are going to be our topics for August. And I'll drop a link below to the creative community if you're interested. And I'll also put a link below to the course on painting with acrylics. So we are going to finish up this little globe here that we've been working on. Get it so you can see that pretty well. Someone else had asked me over on where did they ask me? I'm doing this on so many different places. I think it was on YouTube. They were asking me what colors I'm using for this exact thing. And it's the same colors that I've just gone through that we're going to use in the course. The flowers, the blue flowers, are manganese. We started out with Indian yellow. The greens that I've done here were done with a little bit of black and a little bit of cadmium yellow. There's titanium white in here. And the pink, actually last night after our video, I went back over this pink because I was not happy with the way that it looked. I had used quinacridone red to make this pink, and it looked a little purpley. So I went back and I mixed my cadmium red, which is a warmer red, and it is less purplish. So I'm liking this a lot better. I also, I cheated a little bit. I went back and I covered up some of the things on here that I didn't like. And here's why. Sometimes when I'm painting on a video like this, I'm so close to what I'm doing that I can't see what I'm doing. And so I have to, when I'm painting and making something that I'm going to sell or put in my shop, I always stand back and look at it. So I had some time to stand back and look at my globe, and I didn't like, there was a giant flower right here, and I didn't like it. So last night I painted over that, and I just put a few smaller ones down here. So that big flower was right here, and I just painted over it and put those down there. So just a tip, if you paint something and you don't like it, it's not a big deal. You just paint over it. That's the beauty of paint, and especially acrylic paint. I did want to say, and one more thing about our course before I start on this. Let me get a drink of water first. I made the course for a couple of reasons. The first reason is I wanted to have a place where I could send people who ask me all the time, where do I begin? How do I get started? And what do you recommend? Because I do get asked that all the time. And I didn't really have anything that was all put together in one spot that would teach you about color, about paint, about varnish, about what kind of surfaces you should paint on, about value, about drawing, about all of the things that you kind of need to have a little bit of knowledge about to get started and paint something that you really like. And so I wanted to make a course that I could point people to and say, if you want to get started with acrylics, here's what I recommend, here's all the stuff. But also I wanted to have that available to my creative community members, because even though some of these ladies have been in my group for a long time, I was still seeing them ask some of the same kinds of questions every month when we have our question and answer time. And when they post some of their paintings in the group asking me questions about how they can make it better or different, I was noticing a little bit of a trend that some of these questions that they had would probably be answered by having some sort of beginning course or beginning lessons that they could have, like that foundation. So that's what this course is for. And if it's something that you think that you could benefit from, whether you've been painting for a while, so like some of these creative community members have been painting for a while, but they're still learning new things from the course, even though it's a beginner's course. So anyway, it is available at a early registration price, and that price will be available through Monday night. So if you're interested in the course, you can either just buy the course by itself if you want to see if acrylic painting is what is best for you. If you want to see if the way that I teach is what's best for you, then that will be a great way to begin. or you could jump into my painting group. It's open, and there are those two options for you. So one is $67 and you get access to the course. The other one is $50. You get access to the course plus every other course, workshop, tutorial, question and answer time. You get one-on-one time with me. You get a private Facebook group, and you get to be part of a group of other artists who are working towards the same sort of things that you are. That will be my creative community. So, with all that said, let's jump into this butterfly here, because that's what we're going to finish up tonight. And let me see. I'm just going to use this little paper plate for my palette. I'm going to move this over. I don't think I'm going to actually swatch the paint because I don't know that you would be that interested in that. It's probably not as fun as watching me paint the actual butterflies. So the paint swatches will be on this plate, and I can just show you what the plate looks like instead of doing that. And I need a paper towel. Okay, I'm going to grab my phone and see if you guys if you do have any questions or anything like that, if you want to ask while I am live, I will try my best to answer those questions. And if you know someone who would be interested in painting or just watching me do this, then please share this video, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, and that would be super helpful to me and to whoever you think may be interested. Okay. That works every time, by the way. Okay, so this butterfly here is the one I'm going to begin with. Let's see if I can move this down. And I think I'm going to start with some cerulean blue. And I've already got this Indian yellow in here. I'm going to mix some cerulean blue and a little bit of cadmium yellow and try to get like a little bit of a turquoise color and see if that, I'm probably going to need some white too. So this is cadmium yellow, you can see that, and this is cerulean blue. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get as much of a turquoise as I would like, but we're just going to see what happens. The thing about painting butterflies is trying to get them the same on either side, or, you know, somewhat the same on either side. Let's see if I can get this a little closer. And you don't really have to make it super detailed. It's still going to look like a butterfly. If you get the basic shape and some lights and darks in there, see, that's already looking great, in my opinion. So let's see. I need a little bit of like an orangey red. So I'm going to use some cadmium red and some of this cadmium yellow. So the cad red is an orangey red. It's a warm red. Where that quinacridone is more of a purpley red. So it's more of a cool color. So let's see what happens when I do this. You can just kind of make up your own little patterns on there too. As long as they are the same on either side, or basically the same on either side. Okay, so that's probably about all I'm going to do for this one. Let's do some antenna like that. I feel like this blue comes around differently on that side, but it's okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. All right, let's look at another one. Where did I put another one? I gotta find all of them. Okay, there's one right here. He's a little guy. And I'm just gonna use this orange that I've got here. It's not really a dark orange, but orangish color. I'll wash out my brush. Let's go back to this blue. I'm just going to make this whole part down here blue. And then I'll add some blue spots here and here. And then we'll add some orange spots down here and down here. And then we need our antenna. Okay, so I've got that one done. I hope you can see this. Okay, let me make it worse. I don't know. Okay, I know I've got another one somewhere on here. So I had 3. There it is. Down here on the bottom. So this makes it a little tricky when you're working on a round surface. But let's make this one a little more yellow. Actually, I don't know if that's not going to show up very well down there on that grass. So I'm going to grab some white. Let's lighten it up. Okay. Can you see that at all? Here we go. So we've got a light colored one there. I'm going to add some little dots of red. You can really get creative with butterflies and make them look however you want to make them look, because they don't have to be 100% realistic. They can be whimsical and fun. Okay, so here's what we ended up with. I'm going to try to get it in a good light for you so you can see it. Okay, so we've got our daisies that we did yesterday. And by the way, they are some, what did I use? Raw umber, manganese blue, white, And then the center, I added a little bit of red and some yellow for the centers of those. These flowers here, these little blue ones, I did with manganese blue. And then there's our butterfly we did tonight. More flowers, same colors. Another little butterfly there. These white, like roses, we did with the raw umber, white, and a little bit of blue. And all of the green on this entire thing, even though it's different values, some's brighter, some's darker, some of it is more yellowy than others. All of it was done with black and cadmium yellow. And I've got some little pink, let me move this like this. I've got some little pink branches with like little leaves down there. And I went all the way underneath with some flowers and things like that. And you could get as detailed with this as you want to, but I really like the looseness of the way that we've painted it. I like that everything, all the colors are harmonious. And by that I mean there's not a giant bright colored something in there. They're all kind of muted, but they're still feminine and pretty at the same time. And this is just one of a gazillion ideas that you could take and run with when it comes to painting with acrylics. So I wanted to do this, even though mostly what I'm wanting to share with you is that my new course is available. I wanted to take a couple of days and work on this with you guys to just show you how versatile the acrylic paint is and what you can do with it. And another thing that it just popped in my head today is that I have some paper pumpkins. Let me just grab one real quick. I can get it without falling. Okay. I have these that will be perfect for painting on. Paper mache pumpkin. My mom found these at Dirt Cheap for $5. I have two of them. And the same thing that we did on this, using maybe a different color palette, we could do it on here too. You could paint on plastic pumpkins. I've done that before. I've actually painted and sold plastic pumpkins that had flowers on them. One had a cow on it. I can't remember what else I've done. Mostly flowers. But acrylic paint is super, super versatile. It doesn't have to just be done on canvas. You can do it on all kinds of things. And if you are interested in selling your paintings, things like this would be one of a kind, super unique and fun, and your customers would probably love it. So like I said, I've painted on pumpkins, I've painted on Christmas ornaments, I've painted on coffee mugs, I've done all kinds of things like that. So like I said, it's just very, very versatile, something that you could use and paint whatever you want to, anytime you want to. Just taking a look to see if anyone has any questions about the course or about just acrylic paint in general. I'm not seeing any questions right now, but let me check over on my YouTube and see if I see any questions over there. And I don't see any questions. So I'm going to put some links down below for the creative community and for the painting course. It's called Acrylic Painting for Beginners if you're interested in those. And I'm trying to think if there was something that I have left out. I don't think that I showed you the varnish. So let me do that real quick. All right, so varnishing your paintings is something that you want to do to protect them. So this painting has varnish on it. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's like a little sheen to it, where this one has not been varnished yet. And you might not be able to see it, but right here in the center, it's shiny. But this paint right here is very flat. And so I think you can kind of see that. This one has a uniform sheen. It's all the way across. See that? And one of the things about acrylic paint is that if you're painting with different brands, then the sheen may be a little different. The finish may be a little different from one company to the next. So if you're painting with, multiple kinds of brands, that could happen. And so all you have to do to make it all cohesive is varnish. And this one is matte. This one is satin. You can use this with a brush, but I prefer using it with a sponge like this, and you just put it on top, and then the whole thing is going to be the same finish, the same sheen, but it doesn't have to be shiny. It could be a gloss finish. It could be a satin finish. That's what this one was. This one's satin, and it's kind of a little bit shiny, but not really. It doesn't look like it's like an oil painting with that heavy glossy finish, but it's just enough to finish it up, make it all the same finish, and protect it. And the matte version is just what it says. Like I put the matte varnish on this little sculpture that I did, and see, she's super flat. There's no shiny anything going on here. So she has a matte varnish on her. Another example of acrylic paint. This is an air dry clay sculpture that I did, and I painted it with acrylics. Here's another one. Oops, there's a little nail in there. Hang on. This was a little trinket dish that I used air dry clay to create. I painted it with acrylic paint, and then I used my matte varnish on it to finish it. So hopefully this has given you some inspiration, some ideas, at least giving you, something to start with, to know what you can do with acrylic paint. It's my favorite medium. I've tried oils, I've tried watercolor. I do use pastels and charcoal sometimes, but above all other mediums, I would definitely say acrylic is my very favorite. And I love it. I love to paint, and I love to share what I have learned myself from painting with other people. So this course that I created for you, and my creative community is there for you also. I could paint all day long by myself and enjoy doing what I do without sharing what I've learned with others, but I choose to teach and to share because that makes me happy also. So seeing you guys learning and growing and making beautiful art is why I teach. So I hope this was helpful. I hope it has answered some of the questions that I get asked so often. And I'm happy that you are here, and hope that you'll get some paint and get started and paint your own things. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.